Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace made some stunning allegations on the House floor yesterday.
Mace made a series of accusations of sexual abuse, rape, and voyeurism. Here's part of her speech.
To Eric Bowman, Patrick Bryant, Brian Musgrave, and John Osborne, you have bought yourself a one-way ticket to hell. It is nonstop. There are no connections. So I and all of your victims can watch you rot for an eternity. In November 2023, I accidentally uncovered some of the most heinous crimes against women imaginable. We're talking about rape, non-consensual photos, non-consensual videos of women and underage girls, and the premeditated, calculated exploitation of women and girls in my district.
One of the four men that Mace accused of those actions was her ex-fiancé, Charleston area businessman Patrick Bryant. Bryant has denied categorically those allegations.
Mace also targeted South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson. Here she is.
During the last year, I turned everything over to law enforcement and then some. I was told I, as a victim, would be investigated. Investigated for what? I am a victim here. I am turning in all of this evidence to you. And now you say victims. You're a victim of rape. You're a victim of being drugged. You're a victim of a peeping Tom and voyeurism. Yet we're going to investigate you. That is what this state told me.
Wilson said he had no idea about any of those allegations against those four men, that they never made it to his office. Now, Nancy Mace took to X this morning, writing in part, John Osborne said in a phone interview, my claims were categorically untrue. If you're not guilty and did nothing wrong, why would you frantically text multiple victims minutes before my speech? Do tell, asking for a friend.
The internet naturally erupted with reactions. A Democrat strategist, John Cooper, wrote on Blue Sky, Nancy Mace gave a wild speech on the House floor to accuse her ex-fiancé of physically abusing her, recording sex acts without her consent, and conspiring with others in acts of rape. Mace said her state's top prosecutor didn't take action. He'll be her opponent if she runs for South Carolina governor in 2026. Conservative podcaster Eric Erickson wrote on X, it's going to be interesting to see if Nancy Mace reiterates the claims she made last night off the floor of the House. That's important because she can say anything on the floor of the House and escape legal liability due to Article 1, Section 6, Clause 1 of the Constitution.
That is very relevant. We'll be discussing that more in a minute. Political commentator Meghan McCain wrote, what Nancy Mace is doing tonight is incredibly brave. I literally can't imagine detailing my own date rape and sexual assault on the floor of Congress. If a powerful congresswoman wasn't believed by law enforcement, imagine what life is like for the rest of the country. Conservative political and religious commentator Rod Dreher wrote, this is wrong. If these men are guilty, may they be ground to dust, but it's not right to do this in a forum where you cannot face accountability for false and defamatory allegations. So this is very serious crimes that she describes, including with someone who was her ex-fiance, who she says there was a pattern of that she actually was raped, and that non-consensual photos and videos were taken without her permission, and that she discovered that there was such a thing for underage girls as well. Now, she made these claims on the House floor, and the way it works is that claims made there are broadly extremely protected, immune basically from normal defamation, liability, that kind of thing. For good reason, in my view. Our Constitution says you have to have total ability to debate any subject without risk of liability coming into it when you're on the House floor participating in discussions of what's going to become law. Totally agree with that. I think most people agree with that. But the fact that she does it there rather than anywhere else means she's using that kind of protection, so you can't, people couldn't countersue her for defamation. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not saying it's untrue. I have no knowledge of whether this is true or not. I think women who come forward and make such claims ought to be respected and heard out and listened to, and these things should be investigated by the relevant law enforcement people, journalists, etc. Whatever evidence she has, she should share with law enforcement or with the media to substantiate these claims. I don't think one ought to be automatically believed in these situations. I disagreed with the kind of Me Too era, I would say, fervor of just automatically endorsing any claim and saying that it would be wrong or sexist or disbelieving women to not automatically endorse that. I think collectively as a nation, we have now stepped back from that a little bit and said, well, that it doesn't make any sense to, not that we're saying women are liars or that people commonly lie about this thing. That's not what anyone's saying, but people do. On any category of claims, there are some number of people who will exaggerate or outright mislead people. So take this seriously. Let's listen to this. But I would not automatically endorse what she's saying, and I certainly wouldn't automatically endorse what she says about someone who is likely to be her political opponent within the Republican Party, running, if they're going to both go run for governor, and she's saying, your office didn't take this seriously. He says, that is absolutely not true. I didn't know anything about this. You didn't tell me anything about this. He says in his statement, Congresswoman Mace and the Attorney General have been at multiple events together over the last 6 months. She has the Attorney General's personal cell phone number, and not once did she approach him or reach out to him about any of these concerns. So I do not have enough information to adjudicate that factual dispute at this moment. I would not take either side at their word about it. We have to learn more.
Right, and I think this is the important point. Obviously, neither of us can discern whether what she is saying is true or not. That is a pretty emphatic denial from the person who, as you say, would be a political opponent. And I do think you did a very good job there of laying out the fact that it is, these things are so difficult even to discuss because she is alleging extremely serious, grotesque behavior, really, just appalling stuff. And she is doing so naming and, as we saw, showing photographs of people who have no legal recourse as far as defamation is concerned because of the venue she is using to make the allegation. I think it will be, very rare for me to agree with Eric Erickson about anything, but I think it will be interesting to see, does she repeat these allegations in a forum that is less protected? Obviously, given the gravity of the allegations, if she wants to go forward with them, she should. But I am uneasy about you making those allegations and showing those photos in a place where you're essentially immune from legal blowback.
Yes, I share that unease significantly. If viewers can't tell from my commentary, I don't know. We're going to look into it more. I'm sure we're going to hear more about this. But the choice of that forum itself is, frankly, it raises my skepticism in a way that wouldn't necessarily be triggered. And again, the fact that this seems to have a political motivation in line as well is also colors my commentary.
Right. That one person, yeah.
With respect to the one person. Now, and she is not just saying that this is going to end up being a he said, she said in terms of some date she was on with this ex-fiance. She is saying there is videos and photos, not just with her, because he could say those were consensual, but involving underage people. So that can't be consensual no matter what. There's no way to spin that. If that's true, law enforcement should be able to substantiate that with minimal difficulty. So we should be looking out for that. I'm sure we'll be discussing it more to come. Thanks so much for watching today. That does it for us on the show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you can find podcasts. See you later.